Back in 2012, Disney XD found success with a new sitcom called Lab Rats, a futuristic series about 3 bionic teenagers who went on missions to save the world while going to school. After the show's success, Disney greenlit another series in a similar vein called Mighty Med, about 2 teenage boys who led double lives as staff members at a top-secret superhero hospital while going to school. Mighty Med was, in many ways, the opposite of Lab Rats. Mighty Med was purely fantastical and fun.
Hey, bird brain. I don't mean to ruffle your feathers, but it's time to cock-a-doodle-doo. You in.
Dude, seriously?
While Lab Rats was firmly rooted in science, and by the end of the show, dour, world-ending crises. As the years went on, both of these fondly remembered series' ratings were steadily declining, and the network executives were looking for a way to mix things up. After a 2-part crossover between the shows performed well, their solution was to permanently combine the series into a joint hybrid, smashing these 2 antithetical sitcoms together. And just about everyone hated it, leading to its abrupt cancellation after only 1 season of 16 episodes. But what exactly made the Elite Four such a goofy-off failure? And is it as bad as everyone claims? Yes. This is the tragedy of Lab Rats' Elite Force, the show that killed a franchise.
His magnetism app is gonna rip the framework of the room right out of the walls!
If you think the clips I chose are less exciting than those I chose for the Lab Rats video and Mighty Med video, I'd like you to know those are the most exciting clips from the entirety of Lab Rats Elite Force. Debuting on March 2nd, 2016, Lab Rats Elite Force saw half of Lab Rats' main cast join forces with half of Mighty Med's main cast. Chase, Bree, Kaz, Oliver, and Skylar now had to operate out of a futuristic tower in a metropolis called Sentium City in order to complete a new mission, without going to school. That should have been the first red flag. Let's get ourselves reacquainted with both series and the Lab Rats franchise.
The Lab Rats, I don't know, franchise you could call it.
Lab Rats saw Leo Dooley's mother Tasha get married to billionaire tech genius Donald Davenport. There, Leo stumbled upon 3 genetically engineered bionic humans living in Donald Davenport's basement: Adam, Bree, and Chase. With their superhuman abilities, they were engineered to be the next generation of the human race and face challenges that no one else could. Over the course of the series, they hid their identities from their classmates at school, saved the Earth many times, faced countless bionic threats and betrayals, and made many close allies, such as Donald's brother and their true creator, Douglas, as well as their high school's former principal, Perry. The show became heavily serialized in Season 3, during a storyline in which a bionic madman named Victor Crane revealed their bionic secret to the world at large as they tried to stop him from taking control of the human race, with his army of bionic teenagers. Things concluded in Season 4, which saw Adam, Bree, and Chase become mentors to Crane's army, now redeemed and serving as students at a remote bionic island academy. In the finale, when some lady removed all of their bionic abilities, they ultimately had to face her while powerless and save the day. She actually just kind of killed herself by accident. However, in the second to last scene, the Davenport brothers are able to restore Adam, Bree, and Chase's bionic abilities. And in the very final scene, Davenport deems that it's time to break up the team because he has a top secret, high priority mission for only 2 of them.
Actually, Chase, I'm breaking you guys up.
What? What do you mean, Big D? You can't just break us up.
I don't have a choice. I need 2 of you to go to the academy and oversee this transition, and I need 2 of you to stay here and work on a new project.
Bree and Chase decide to take the new mission, sending Leo and Adam back to the Bionic Island, never to be seen again.
Don't worry, guys. We'll be back together before you know it.
Wrong.
Bye, guys.
So, you ready for your new adventure?
Mighty Med saw high schoolers Kaz and Oliver team up with recently depowered superhero Skylar Storm at a superhero hospital called Mighty Med to fight villains and heal heroes. The show was built on puns and rapid-fire gags.
I know you don't like people helping you, but I'm gonna do everything I can to help you get your powers back.
That would be great.
With Oliver promising to restore Skylar's powers to her serving as a backbone of the series, and a colorful and vibrant supporting cast of their boss Horace, their snobby coworker Alan, their best friends Gus and Jordan, and evil twin comic book shop owners Wallace and Clyde, the series excelled at creating a believable, consistent, and addictively fun world. The show embraced serialized storytelling in its second and final season, with the majority of episodes following a continuous plot, and the series finale saw Oliver's mother Bridget betray everyone and reveal her true nature, absorbing the energy of a powerful relic called the Arcturian to become the mother of all villains, and setting out to exert her control and power over the world.
I have a world to conquer!
After absorbing some of the Arcturians' power themselves, Kaz and Oliver suddenly gained powers in the final seconds of the show, and they flew into the distance. Unlike Lab Rats, this show didn't get a formal finale, and there was no foreshadowing of the Elite Force. A third season was clearly intended and desired, but never came to fruition. And unfortunately, that wasn't the end of the misfortune for the creative staff of Mighty Med, because their involvement in Elite Force seemed to be minimal. Elite Force was showrun by Chris Peterson and Brian Moore, the co-creators of Lab Rats, and you can feel it because the characters from Lab Rats feel the same, but the characters from Mighty Med don't feel the same at all. The rules of their universe are completely broken and disregarded over and over, and no other characters from Mighty Med appear. And speaking of characters, here is the main cast of Lab Rats Elite Force. I'm not gonna spend much time recapping their personalities because at this point I'm assuming you've already seen my Lab Rats retrospective and my Mighty Med retrospective. And if you haven't, they're quick watches. I'd go check them out right now because it's not a big time commitment. Then come back here. Just to quickly refresh your memory, we've got Chase, the youngest bionic sibling, who is just a jerk and annoying and mean, and is constantly stated by the narrative to be the smartest person in the whole universe, despite the fact that he constantly says things like this.
What the heck are shapeshifters?
Bree is the bionic middle child. She has super speed. Her personality was completely different in every episode back in the beginning of Lab Rats, before it eventually just became typical boy-obsessed teenage girl. Kaz and Oliver are best friends from Mighty Med. Kaz is a little bit more mischievous and rule-breaking, whereas Oliver is sweet and rule-abiding. However, their personalities will change quite a bit as Elite Force goes on. Skylar is an alien from the planet Caldera who's struggling to understand Earth culture and learning to live without her superpowers, which she'd recently lost. Skylar's personality will change a lot as well. In the other videos, I had a second row of characters who appeared in roughly half the episodes or a third of the episodes. In Elite Force, there actually aren't any. The most we get is Principal Perry, who appears in 4. There are only 18 speaking characters in the entirety of Elite Force, so we're going to get to them one by one as they come. Okay, that's it. Let's go. The pilot episode of Elite Force, dramatically titled The Rise of 5, begins with Davenport leading Chase and Bree through the 110th floor penthouse of his personal skyscraper called Davenport Tower, because this was 2016 and the MCU was pretty cool. 29 seconds into Lab Rats Elite Force, Donald Davenport makes a joke about sex.
This penthouse is where I spent my years as a bachelor. Boy, if these walls could talk. Actually, they can talk. Walls off! Walls off!
That's when he introduces Bree and Chase to their new team.
As I like to call it, an elite force.
Kaz, Oliver, and Skylar are then revealed, having been standing behind the Elite Force hologram the entire time.
5 hours to be exact.
Let's not forget the 2 hours we spent rehearsing how to stand.
Obviously, we needed 3 hours because you're still not doing it right.
Now, we've ventured 1 minute and 22 seconds into this show, and it's here that we're treated to an exposition dump unlike any other. If you watch Mighty Med at all, even a single episode, your eyebrow should raise at this information.
Mighty Med Hospital was destroyed.
What?
What?
What the? Who the? Why the?
This is all that's left of it.
Who would do something like that?
We don't know. We lost a lot of superheroes that we cared about. We're not gonna stop until we find whoever's responsible.
Who the? Why the? Oh!
They wanted to use my technology to track the criminals, but I had a better idea. To create one all-powerful team combining bionic heroes and superheroes.
Every word of what you just said was wrong.
Okay, now, hold on. Okay, let's take it from the beginning. Mighty Med has been destroyed, completely off-screen, the central location from the other series, and we see the wreckage of its remains. But here's the thing, the Mighty Med hospital is hidden inside of a regular hospital, or a normal hospital, as the show calls it. There should not be a Mighty Med M on the outside under any circumstance. Mighty Med itself wasn't a standing structure, and if it were one, I refuse to believe it'd be a rickety-ass brick building. It's a hyper-futuristic facility. I'm like 90% sure the editors of Elite Force just nabbed a stock photo of a building destroyed by an earthquake in Haiti or something, slapped an M on it, and moved on.
We lost a lot of superheroes that we cared about.
So if there were superhero casualties, how many normal casualties were there? Because again, those hospitals were conjoined. Now, on the topic of superheroes who died, we never get any elaboration, nor do we see a single other superhero from Mighty Med again, nor do we see Horace, Alan, and the other leads from that show who staffed the hospital. Later episodes state that the superhero world was just wiped out and is getting hunted down, and the implication is that Horace and Alan literally died off-screen. Horace, who just used his final resurrection ability to save his dead wife, only for her to betray him and break his heart, he's likely dead. He probably died. Alan, who finally got to meet his father after 16 years of abandonment and neglect, who finally overcame his hatred of normos and learned to look past biological differences, yeah, he's probably dead.
What?
Tecton's probably dead, Captain Atomic's probably dead, Titanio, Hapax, Optimo, Neocortex, Ambrose, Brain Matter. The implication is that the wacky recurring cast we came to know and love were literally mass executed, and the mastermind behind it is somewhere on the loose. Finally,
I had a better idea. To create one all-powerful team combining bionic heroes and superheroes.
I don't know, man.
why? Why was this his first idea? Why was this random idea he had, which wasn't even what Skylar, Kaz, and Oliver wanted him to do in the first place, important enough to warrant him separating his kids?
I don't have a choice. I need 2 of you to go to the academy and oversee this transition, and I need 2 of you to stay here and work on a new project. A new team.
What?
What?
I can't give you all the details, but
Don't lie to me.
I need you to make a decision.
Why was it necessary that he keep the mission a secret from them? Why couldn't he just tell the kids back at the lab that Mighty Med was blown up and the kids need help tracking down whoever destroyed the hospital? Why couldn't he have let them explain it to them himself? The students at your academy are at the highest level. The Lab Rats finale plainly states that the students are more skilled and more advanced than Adam, Bree, and Chase now. They're the next generation. Where are they? Why not send some of them to help Kaz and the gang? Why did you specifically need to separate the main 4 and have 2 of them go somewhere else?
Sussy baka.
I'm not going to say that plot holes break a story. I'm a Dark Knight Rises defender, and that movie invented plot holes. Stories are about characters and choices at a fundamental level. If a character's arc is built on the back of logically inconsistent events, then it's fair to raise an eyebrow. Thus far, the character arcs aren't affected by this. They haven't started yet. There aren't any. But already, 2 minutes in, the series has a premise that's flimsy and illogical if you've watched Lab Rats, and inconsistent with the lore of Mighty Med, as well as incredibly disheartening to anyone that liked that show. Now, we're 1 minute and 50 seconds into Elite Force, no relation to Elite Penguin Force, and things are going to get a bit wacky.
Do you really expect me to believe that these two have...
But the human body can't...
I'm watching you, Fireboy.
Kaz and Oliver's powers have developed since the events of the finale, giving Kaz the ability to create fire, and Oliver the power to generate water and ice.
We can both do this.
Oliver, no!
What the...
Wait for it.
Sorry. Still working on the landings.
What a punchline! Banger! Theme song time. I think that the theme song encapsulates a lot of what's off about this show. The music is an orchestrated revamp of the Lab Rats theme with no representation of Mighty Med's music whatsoever. And I'll have a lot more to say about this theme song later, but for now, I'll just point out Chase doesn't use his laser bow lightsaber hand from Lab Rats at any point in this series. It's exclusively in the theme song. And let me also promise you, this theme song is more exciting and more interesting than anything you will see in all 16 episodes.
You're destroying Skylar Storm's legacy. She would never fight in high heels.
Back to the 16 episodes. Lore!
So, how did you three manage to escape before Mighty Med was destroyed?
We were off capturing my mom. I mean, yeah, she's an evil lunatic who will spend the rest of her life in prison, but if it weren't for her, we would have been killed. So, silver lining.
So now we learn that not only was the hospital destroyed off-screen, but the massive cliffhanger was resolved off-screen as well. Kaz and Oliver, who just got powers, and Skylar, who doesn't have powers, managed to defeat the most powerful being in the universe, Oliver's own mother. If there were other superheroes with them capturing Mr. Terror, I assumed they'd be with the three of them here, which implies it was just them, and yet it's glossed over and Oliver seems completely indifferent and unaffected. She's never mentioned again. Although it's not clear where she's in prison because the only facility secure enough to hold her was Mighty Max, which was underneath Mighty Med. Because even if this was just a Herbert P. Bear style bomb that blew up the building on top but didn't obliterate the secret facility underneath, what happened to the staff in Mighty Max? If superheroes were just mass wiped out and there's very few of them remaining now on the run, as the show indicates, does that imply that these mysterious assailants wiped out everyone below the hospital as well? Philip would have died if that happened, so I can't accept that as a reality. Either way, there's just a lot of questions up in the air right now, and none of them will be answered at all. Davenport introduces them to their subterranean command room, and the group begins strategizing.
All right, let's head out and start searching for the lowlifes who destroyed Mighty Med. We'll go city by city, starting here. You guys take Uptown, we'll take Downtown.
And again, why would they start their search in Sitcom City? This is some random tower that Davenport happened to own. Why not begin the search around Mighty Med? Unfortunately, they don't get the opportunity to start their search. They're immediately ambushed.
Guys, get up here. There's something strange going on.
Whoa, that is strange.
Get down!
Magically, there's a flash drive in a box on the floor now. So this top secret mission has already been completely exposed about 4 minutes in, and that doesn't really get properly acknowledged. They just continue operating out of Davenport Tower despite their enemies knowing exactly where they are for the duration of this show's run.
Destroying your little hospital was just the beginning. We're on the hunt for every superhero that remains. And soon, they will all be extinct. And once you've watched us eliminate them, we're coming for you.
Kaz, in a rare show of initiative, sets off on his own to track the location of the call. This leads him to two supervillain shapeshifter brothers named Roman and Riker, who reveal themselves as the ones who destroyed Mighty Med. That was easy. I'm not sure why they sent an anonymous message if they were just gonna tell Kaz a couple minutes later, but whatever.
I know you guys. You're Roman and Riker. Your dad is the superhero Odysseus.
Was a superhero until you got your hands on him at Mighty Med.
What are you talking about? We saved his life.
You took away his powers.
We had no choice. Sacrificing his powers was the only way to keep him alive.
So, their father, Odysseus, was a superhero. Kaz and Oliver had to drain his powers to save his life during his surgery. This left him bitter. Him and his children then vowed revenge on Kaz, Oliver, and Mighty Med. Their plan is now to kill all superpowered individuals. How hard would it have been to have the characters who are quote-unquote from Mighty Med actually be in Mighty Med? There were literally 100 plus superheroes in that series you could have picked easily, but instead you introduce completely new characters and try to pretend they've been there from the beginning. Bree tries to flirt with Roman and Riker.
Hello.
These are the guys who destroyed Mighty Med.
Come on, why are the bad ones always so cute?
Bree, girl, and here, there's a line that tipped me over the edge.
You took away the only thing that made him special and forced him to live his life as a mortal. Mortal?
They are called Normos. Mighty Med is consistent across all 48 episodes that non-superpowered individuals are Normos. Every single person in the superhero world would call them Normos, and in almost every single episode.
Normo? Normo.
Blame Normo.
I'm gonna get a Normo cage. The Normo.
A Normo.
What?
And this truly confirmed to me that Chris Peterson and Brian Moore, whoever was pulling the strings of this series, did not bother actually watching Mighty Med whatsoever, because this is like upfront, in your face constantly. This is a cardinal sin. The entire group decides to bicker for no particular reason. I mean no reason. They all just became friends at the end of the actual crossover episode they had, but now they're like, actually, I hate you. And maybe it's just me, but I'm wondering if this strange alley is recycled from the exterior of the domain from the Mighty Med Season 2 finale. This encounter results in Skylar getting kidnapped Princess Peach style. The group tracks her down to Roman and Riker's subterranean lair. Now, both of these shows had pretty pathetic fight scenes. I thought we'd reached the bottom of the barrel. I was so wrong.
Ah, great. They're doing their dust bunny thing again.
They're creating a ring of centrifugal force around us!
Guys, if we don't do something fast, the force will crush us.
Surrounded by Roman and Riker, who have shape-shifted into a ring of dust or something. Kaz comes up with a brilliant scientific solution to escape the trap.
Wait! If shapeshifters change their form by manipulating their molecular structures, then there has to be a way to freeze the molecules and stop the swarm! That's it! Oliver has ice powers! Oliver, use your cryoblast! Right!
Keep going!
Why did Kaz come up with that plan? A central aspect of his character is that he never pays attention in class. He's exclusively into comics. He only comes up with solutions to problems based on his comic book knowledge. Here, he randomly suggests a solution based on chemistry. Kaz would never in a million years say that, or be an intellectual equal to Chase. Kaz is intelligent, but he only applies that intelligence to whatever he's interested in. And Kaz manages to be the Mighty Med character who's least butchered in the pilot, believe it or not. Skylar, who was the naive alien Calderan failing to understand Earth culture but still eagerly trying her best to fit in, is now just extremely sarcastic and jaded, bordering on mean, and 100% disinterested. She's now written completely identically to Bree, just without the craziness for boys.
Good news, ladies. I'm about to teach my first class of superhero school.
I'm out. Right behind you.
Now she's apparently gross.
I'm from another planet, so sometimes I spit acid in my sleep.
Skylar snores.
Your capsule's soundproof.
I know.
Which there were some occasional elements of in Mighty Med, but now it seems to be an overwhelming aspect of her personality. She's a mean and disgusting alien, not a sweet and happy girl. Oliver, the optimistic and well-meaning supportive best friend, is reduced to nothing more than a punchline, constantly bullied by others for being weak and scrawny, despite the fact that he isn't.
I have super strength.
You?
Yes, me. Why does everyone act so surprised when I say that?
Because we can see a ribcage through your shirt.
In Lab Rats, Chase filled this role. He got pushed around by his siblings and by the narrative constantly. Now though, he's mature, and it seems that Chris and Brian shifted the target to Oliver. And it's just weird, because in Mighty Med, the kids were made fun of equally. The show made fun of itself just as much as it made fun of the kids. But here, Oliver is the exclusive target. But even worse, he is creepy and perverted. In Mighty Med, he had an occasionally two-sided but usually one-sided crush on Skylar. The majority of the time, it was childish and sweet, although it did occasionally cross into uncomfortable territory. Here, though, for the entirety of Elite Force, it's firmly in creepy territory and never leaves.
The force will crush us!
Not gonna lie, kind of okay with it.
They could have taken her anywhere.
Normally when I'm looking for her, I just follow her sweet flowery scent.
Writing one-sided crushes is a slippery slope because they have the potential to become very creepy. The character with the crush has to respect the boundaries of the person they want to date if you want us, the audience, to root for them. And most importantly, they have to acknowledge that they are not dating them yet.
Does Skylar have any weaknesses? Nope, she's perfect. Although she'd tell you that one of her knees is higher than the other, but I know that's not true. I've measured them many, many times. Look, I have a secret to tell you.
At night, you sneak into my bathroom and collect pieces of my hair?
No, not always at night. Well, there's a chemical compound in coal that's harmful to her, and I've seen it. It ain't pretty. I couldn't even look at her knees.
Oliver violates Skylar so many times, and she doesn't seem fazed or bothered by it.
If you'd prefer, I can administer the injection.
No way, Frankenstein. This is my beautiful monster. Can I make you more comfortable? Would you like to put your feet up?
So you can measure my knees again? No thanks.
Back in Mighty Med, Skylar seemed annoyed when Oliver went too far and communicated that to him. Oliver was down bad, but here, she's just indifferent. She just lets this gross behavior happen. There's no punishment to Oliver for acting this way. There's no moral lesson that this behavior is wrong.
But you need a password to use it. We'll never be able to figure that out.
I'm in. I may have been looking over Skylar's shoulder once or twice when she was emailing Caldera.
You know, I can't believe I'm saying this, but thank you for being so creepy.
It's simply the status quo of the show, and it's just unfortunate. After freezing Roman and Riker, the group pauses to take a selfie because they get along now, which seems out of character for Chase and Skylar for sure. Probably Oliver too, like they didn't even like each other the whole rest of the episode. And to add insult to injury, Roman and Riker managed to escape from the frozen ring, disappearing into the sky. If they hadn't taken this selfie, the entire series would be over right here. The destroyers of Mighty Med identified and apprehended. Back at Davenport Tower, the group is excited to work together to relocate Roman and Riker and bring them to justice, as well as locate as many superheroes as possible to protect them from destruction. Meanwhile, Roman and Riker literally just stand on the balcony right behind everyone and laugh that the Elite Force will lead them straight to the remaining superheroes. This pilot was rough, because once again, it feels like Chris Peterson and Brian Moore, or whoever was hands-on responsible for the production of this show, didn't watch a single episode of Mighty Med and just guessed what that trio's personality was supposed to be. It just feels like weird Lab Rats DLC. It doesn't feel like a continuation of Mighty Med at all. Trinity, who's been watching all these shows with me, couldn't even get through this episode. I drove over to her shitty-ass piece of shit fucking apartment to start Elite Force, and after having enjoyed Lab Rats and Mighty Med, she just couldn't endure this one. And she hasn't read all the comments. This was her first cold reaction to it. But I'm not a quitter like Trinity. Unlike the Fitnessgram Pacer test from high school PE, this is an endurance test that I will pass. Ready? Let's begin. Now, thus far, I've mainly spoken about the inconsistencies between this and the previous shows, in terms of story and character, but let's spend more time speaking about the show itself, without dwelling on the other ones. So, episode 2 is called Holding Out for a Hero. Good title. Unfortunately, the rest of the episode is dry, bland, and lifeless. Kaz discovers a new ability, shooting fire out of his mouth. And once again, this is written exactly like Lab Rats, where the kids just found new powers as the show went on. Oliver is jealous that Kaz can use his powers effortlessly, whereas he can't get the hang of his.
Oh, come on!
When he discovers Cyclone Fingers, he accidentally hurls Davenport off the balcony, who spends the next 11 minutes of the episode dangling, and no one can save him. Oliver has to learn how to master flying in order to rescue Donald Davenport. Oliver accidentally gets stuck on the gargoyle as well. Despite having the ability to fly, Kaz says he can't rescue Davenport because he doesn't have super strength. Chase doesn't think to use his molecular kinesis or force field abilities at all. He could just make a force field around Davenport and then use his molecular kinesis to pull him up, as he's done in Lab Rats multiple times, but I guess he just doesn't want to. No one has the idea to get Bree, who can run on walls and apparently stick to surfaces. It just drags on forever, until finally, Oliver builds confidence in himself and brings Davenport up to safety. This is Davenport's final appearance in the series, and as of now, the franchise as a whole. Bye, Donnie! Adios, Big D! See you later, Daddy Davy! We'll miss you! He's just dull. I have so little to say about it. For example, here's the average conversation in the series.
Okay, guys, I will be your instructor, and Chase will be my apprentice.
What? Why am I the apprentice?
Because you don't know anything about superheroes.
Oh, and you do?
Hello, I'm Donald Davenport.
Just because you wear disturbingly tight unitards does not make you a superhero.
It's just not interesting. It's not entertaining. All of it feels like placeholder dialogue. And yet here all of it is in the final product.
I'm gonna dab and puke.
All right.
And to think we could have just let him fall.
Ha ha.
What's going on?
He's making a mold of my face to replace the broken Davin head.
But if they're only doing your head, then why are you wearing that outfit?
Because I look great in it.
Do we have any superpowers that can make me unsee this?
In the B plot, Skylar keeps bullying and battling Bree. Aggressively. Bree tries to avoid Skylar before finally telling her to stop. And again, oh, I said I wasn't gonna do this. I changed my mind, fuckers, I'm doing it. This isn't Skylar. She'll accidentally battle Normos when she misreads situation and thinks others are in danger. You see, Skylar explains that on her planet, siblings fight aggressively to show affection, and she sees Bree as a sister. Bree explains that she doesn't like it, and Skylar agrees to limit her harassment of Bree, because, just like the original crossover, the 40-year-old male writers get an absolute rush over these teenage girls fighting. Now that the girls aren't competing over Oliver's love and affection, the writers have got to find new reasons for these underage girl characters to wrestle on the ground. Kaz and Oliver never used the powers they unlocked in this episode ever again. Lab Rat's Elite Force takes two entertaining, creative shows and drains all the life and energy out of them as excruciatingly as possible, like when the Chupacabra kills chickens in Pop Tropica Cryptid's Island. Do you guys remember the Jersey Devil? Remember when that thing popped through the window? Scariest thing I've ever seen. Oh my god. I'm not saying every joke in Lab Rats was hilarious, but at least once every couple minutes there'd be something genuinely clever like this.
The Pentagon is the most secure facility in the world.
Yeah, with all those sides, it'd take me all day just to find the entrance.
Elite Force doesn't have anything like that.
Oh, great.
What?
I'm starting to get chilly.
Okay, it's official. You are the worst superhero ever.
I went into Mighty Med expecting to hate it, and I wound up loving it even more than Lab Rats. Likewise, I went into Elite Force expecting to be underwhelmed, as all the comments warned me about, and it was even worse than I thought was possible. As with the previous video, I'd like to examine the sets in Lab Rats Elite Force. There's the penthouse, and this underground command room. That's all. Lab Rats, with its hella limited budget, had a spacious living room, a lab, and a school with 2 areas. Mighty Med had 4 major locations with multiple rooms each. The entirety of Lab Rats Elite Force takes place in one room and a sliver of a hallway on floor 110 of Davenport Tower. The kitchen's upstage right, the balcony's on the far left, that's all. A fireplace opens to reveal the entrance to the command room, which is just a circle. The only other locale that's in more than one episode is a generic park that's in 3, and those are the primary locations of Lab Rats Elite Force, which the viewer gets tired of very quickly. There aren't even outside establishing shots for me to go to and stand outside of like I did in the other videos. The whole tower and city immediately surrounding it are CGI renders. There's a subway tunnel, but is it interesting and would I be able to get on the road or the tracks? No. Also, I did not speed ramp this footage. In the actual show, they slowed this down and the cars are just like at a super low frame rate. Look at that! Ah! Then the only other one is just this generic park, which is not worth going to. There's nothing in this show that's worth standing in front of. That's all. The focus of episode 3, Power Play, is finally restoring powers to Skylar Storm, and yet it manages to completely undercut the emotional core of Mighty Med in the process. It opens with Oliver and Chase conversing.
I just reinforced all the windows with an impenetrable polymer I designed to keep this place safe from any threat.
Oh yeah? Well, I just made myself a grilled cheese.
When Skylar enters, Oliver accidentally sprays her with water. She blows up at him.
Oliver! I'm sorry. It was an accident. I'm still trying to get the hang of my powers.
Oh, you poor thing. It must be so hard for you.
Skylar, that's not what I meant.
No. Thank you once again for reminding me how you have powers and I don't.
Alien chicks, am I right?
And you can see Mighty Med gradually shifting into lab rats in the sense that everyone here hates each other. In Mighty Med, all of the characters had pretty healthy friendships and relationships for the most part. Oliver and Kaz had jealousy issues, but they always talked it out, and that was their arc for the episode. That doesn't really happen anymore. Annoyance and snappiness is once again the baseline emotion, and the characters don't have to apologize. And here, the show takes a moment to make fun of Mighty Med's premise.
If Skylar was born a superhero, then why doesn't she have any powers?
Well, she used to, but a human-turned-mutant named the Annihilator drained them out of her and put them on a shelf as a trophy.
Okay, I'm sorry, but you have to agree. That just sounds ridiculous.
This isn't the first time it's happened either, because there were a handful of moments like this in earlier episodes.
Don't be ridiculous. While we were trying to stop my mother, also known as the evil villain Mr. Tear, from becoming the most powerful being on the planet, we made indirect contact with the Arcturian space rock, which gave us a variety of superhuman abilities.
A magic space rock. And was that delivered by a bunch of little green men? Ah, the pyramid with a glowy racquetball inside. Now that is science.
If the show also took the time to mock the ridiculousness of, say, Victor Crane getting launched into orbit, then falling directly into the lab of a scientist creating liquid bionics, and then they flew to Davenport's space colony in another solar system to inject all of the colonists with liquid bionics as well, then we could all have a chuckle and move on. But it just comes across as the creators of Lab Rats punching down on Mighty Med over and over at any opportunity they can without doing the same for their own series, which they hold in high regard. Then Oliver drops a line that honestly breaks my heart.
I have to be the one to get her powers back.
Why you?
Because then she falls in love with me, then we get married, then we live our happy little superhero lives together forever in a space castle.
You know, in your funny yet creepy little world, I believe that could happen.
Back in Mighty Med, he promised to do it because he's a caring and upbeat person, who sometimes bites off more than he can chew. He had a crush on her, but I never got the impression in that series that he was only making this promise for them to get together. In fact, he definitely wasn't, because he didn't have powers back then. They've stripped away all of Oliver's personality and removed everything that made him an endearing and likable character. To carry on with the episode, Jace comes up with a cure for Skylar, but agrees to give Oliver credit. They inject her with coal, which was established as her weakness in Mighty Med. Unfortunately, the coal then begins to kill her, and she releases toxic vapors that threaten to destroy everyone in the tower. After struggling to stabilize and contain her, Oliver shunts the blame onto Chase, insisting that he was solely responsible for the cure and he just took credit. And then the vapor dies down and Skylar turns out to be fine. It was nothing but a side effect. In the B-plot, the Elite Force's next-door neighbor, Miss Ramsey, asks Kaz and Bree to pet sit her pig. Much like Doofenshmirtz Evil Incorporated, this building has thousands of other tenants, but is only mentioned when it's convenient for the story. Bree says no, but Kaz sneaks it in anyways because he's apparently always wanted a pig more than anything in the world. It's an awesome reveal after 51 episodes of knowing this character. Suddenly, things start to go missing and awry, and it turns out that the pig is responsible. It locks Kaz and Bree on the balcony and opens the door for Miss Ramsey to ransack the apartment. Luckily, Skylar arrives to save the day, defeating this regular human with her restored powers. Apparently, she can freeze time. She never did that in Mighty Med. That would have been useful. She never does that again in this show. It would have been useful. Also, it's completely stylistically different now. Her powers in this show are orange. In Mighty Med, they were pink. Also, she never wears her pink hair streak in this show because I guess that's just too goofy, or her iconic outfit. They probably made a good decision to get rid of that. Ew. Imagine being just some random house robber and then having the most powerful superhero in the world come to stop you. Apparently, this episode was written by Andy Schwartz, one of the co-creators of Mighty Med. And I guess, if I really think about it, I can see some elements of that. Little lore details like the coal, the absurdity of the pig spy, the comic book chaos of Skylar's powers, and the perfectly catered situation where Oliver takes credit for a situation before it goes wrong, then confesses his lack of involvement before it goes right. The title is also a pun, Power Play. I notice a lot of these connections now when I look for them, but this one didn't stand out as Mighty Med-ish to me while watching it. Overall, it just feels dry. Andy never solo wrote an episode of Mighty Med. He always co-wrote his episodes with Jim Bernstein, who was the major writer on Phineas and Ferb, as we discussed in those videos. And I think that a lot of life and energy was lost with Jim's lack of involvement, if I had to guess. Granted, just because Andy had the writing credit doesn't mean he was the only one who touched the script. It's never that simple. As showrunners, Chris and Brian might have had their hands all over the script, depending on their engagement with the show and the material. So you never really know what lines came from them, what came from Andy, or what uncredited contributions came from other writers or executives. I can't even find information about whether Elite Force had a staff writer's room or individual freelance scripts. I don't really know enough information to break down who's responsible for what, and I'm not going to pretend to be. In episode 4, The Superhero Code, we're introduced to Kaz's brother Kyle. I'll give them credit here, this is in continuity with an obscure gag from a Mighty Med episode.
Think of all your siblings' names.
Oh, okay. Katie, Kenny, Kevin, Kaylee, Casey, Kyle, Karen, Casey.
Wait, you said Casey twice.
Yeah, there's 2 Caseys. After the 7th kid, my parents really just stopped caring. I mean, my youngest sister's name is just the letter K.
Also, huge shout out to YouTube user Abigail Suarez, who knew the exact episode and time code of this. He comes to visit Davenport Tower, apparently without his parents or anyone else. He flew here by himself, brave child. Because superheroes are a secret to the world, but bionic humans aren't, Kaz's cover story to his family is that he's an intern for Chase and Bree. And here's what trips me up. Kaz claims that the reason superheroes can't reveal their powers is because of the Superhero Code.
The superhero code says that no hero can reveal his or her true identity, thus exposing all heroes' existence to the general public.
And while this technically doesn't contradict Mighty Med, it definitely tests the suspension of disbelief, because how could that term have possibly never come up in all 48 episodes of that show if it's been a part of the superhero world the entire time? When Kyle takes a liking to Chase and ignores Kaz entirely, a jealous Kaz reveals his powers to Kyle. And then everyone panics and they're like, what do we do? Kaz, how could you? I immediately had the idea to just tell Kyle that Kaz is bionic, but the rest of the characters, one of whom is the smartest man of the universe, don't have that idea at all.
I have to tell him everything.
What about the superhero code?
I have no choice. I'm sorry.
Oh, I know the truth. These bionic freaks abducted you and filled you with machine parts to turn you into one of them.
Yes, they did. Yeah. How did he know? I figured that one out. But, I mean, technically, I asked them for the bionics, so I can help them save lives around the world. Right. Yeah, but, congratulations.
Chase, as I've stated 100 times, despite supposedly being the smartest man in the universe, is the least intelligent character in the entire Lab Rats franchise. Trent the Bully literally outthinks Chase multiple times. In the B-plot, Bree finds her possessions broken, and decides to blame Oliver, who can't control his powers yet. She's very mad at him, until finally, Skylar confesses to breaking everything because she hasn't mastered her powers yet.
Frozen chocolate banana, Skylar? Why, thank you, Oliver. That's my favorite dessert. This is way better than Chase getting my powers back. Oh, silly girl, it's just a banana. No, listen to me, Oliver. You are the bestest, strongest, handsomest.
Oliver is a creepy guy. Oliver, stop. Oliver, stop it, please. One last thing of note. In an episode of Lab Rats Season 4, Davenport is stuck in Chase's jumpsuit, and Leo pulls out a dangerous and terrifying-looking red device to help remove it. In this episode, we find out they are bolt cutters.
What if I just use these steel bolt cutters to cut through the cage?
Many people were upset that Tyrell Jackson Williams and Spencer Boltman, the 2 funniest actors from Lab Rats, didn't make their return in Elite Force, angrily questioning the decision behind that. It is not some big conspiracy. The actors just didn't choose to renew their contracts. They were just tired after 98 episodes and wanted a break, while Kelly Berglund and Billy Unger, now going by William Brent, were willing to keep going. Which is rough. Tyrell and Spencer are in the absolute golden S tier acting-wise, whereas Kelly and William are just sort of mid. I don't think that's entirely their fault. I don't think they're bad actors. I don't think the writing for Chase and Bree as characters did William and Kelly any favors, but it also didn't do Tyrell and Spencer any favors, and yet they were able to expertly elevate that bland material into comedic perfection. Likewise, on the Mighty Med side of things, Bradley Stephen Perry was a charismatic powerhouse who were surrounded by an incredible ensemble, while I feel like Jake Short and Paris Burrells lagged slightly behind. They didn't have the same intuitive understanding of comedic timing, they didn't always have the believable and earnest deliveries in the way Bradley had from the beginning. Now they've combined the most mid-leads from both shows, and Bradley Perry, into the next one, and all of their weaknesses are so much more visible because they don't have Carlos LaCamera, or Angel Parker, or Randy and Jason Sklar injecting energy into their scenes to amplify their performances. I don't think that should necessarily be an insult to Paris, Jake, Kelly, and William. It's just that some actors inject a lot of energy into scenes and their scene partners are better for it. For example, when I was in high school, my theater teacher said that I improved my scene partners' performances because I injected energy. One time when I was a senior, I was a TA in the beginning theater class, and we were doing ambiguous dialogues, and someone's partner dropped out, so I had to team up with a freshman, and I was like, freshman, we're gonna have a lightsaber fight.
I release. I always release. Oh my god. Slam down! I'm on!
Was that relevant at all, or was there a point to that? No. But did I share it anyways? Mm-hmm. Not to brag, but I peaked in high school. Bradley Stephen Perry's still charismatic as hell, but it just isn't enough anymore. He's only able to be in one subplot at a time, and that consistently leaves the other half of the episode unbearably dull. But honestly, by the end of this series, I don't feel like he's the standout anymore. I feel like Kelly was the one injecting energy into the other people around her.
Something flew by the window.
Well, I know someone's gonna fly out the window.
Because Bradley Perry wasn't really able to elevate this material like he was in the previous show, whereas Kelly sort of settled into it and I think became the heart of the group, whether that was the show's intention or not. I think she clearly grew a lot as an actor since the beginning of Lab Rats in the previous 6 years, and this show is sort of the ultimate culmination of her work in goofy Disney XD dramas, before she graduated into actual projects for grown-ups. But unfortunately for Kelly, no one has ever seen the adult movies and shows that she lands roles in now, so she'll only be remembered for goofy Disney XD dramas. Now, let's pay some respect to this fire banger theme song, and we're gonna need some help. Please welcome some dude I went to high school with, that I hung out with in group settings, but never one-on-one before until now. His name is Kobe! I hadn't talked to him in like 2 years! He does like VFX on Insta and stuff. I saw that on Instagram. I was like, oh, okay, I'll just ask him if he wants to be in this video, and he said yeah! Welcome to VFX Artists in the Knee React to the Lab Rats Elite Force theme song.
Yeah. So, I'm just gonna stop it immediately. Something I love with this, and you don't have to try harder than this. It's a Disney show. They got the paycheck, it's fine. But you can just tell that they took assets of buildings, threw them in the background, and just said that's it.
And then something I noticed is that they're spinning for no reason at all.
Yeah.
And then also the fire will just stay on his hand for a super long time when it's supposed to be launching because they didn't have it timed out properly.
Yeah, or my favorite part is when he's actually launching the fire. And for whatever reason, they've decided that they're going to use a, just straight beam effect instead of a fireball. Because that's how fire actually works in the real world.
It hits the lightsaber 2 different ways. The first one, it balloons out. The second one is just a little ball.
Yeah, and one of my favorite things about this is that it goes straight to the lightsaber. He's not, defending. It's hitting the lightsaber. He's, aiming for the lightsaber.
Something I noticed is that the perspective on this rooftop does not make any sense. If you were to zoom out this shot, put it on a perspective grid, this is what it would look like.
Yeah, they would not have legs. In that shot, legs don't make sense.
They're all the way on the ground, especially because in the previous shot, the edge of the building is ankle height.
Yep.
And then in this shot,
it's up here fully at his shoulder. It does not make any sense.
I love it. He's making facial expressions for no real reason. So what emotion are you trying to express right now? Flying.
Flying.
He's flying.
My emotion is flying.
Emotion. She's just doing,
she's just sitting there with no shadows for some reason, just kind of floating on top of the building. Oh no, there's a shadow. It's just,
It's just in the opposite direction of where the light source is. They're clearly standing in front of a studio spotlight, and then they're just, desaturated to match the background.
I love that her hair's, glowing for some reason. And then even then, it's not actual light sources on her hands. They just kind of lit up the whole scene. Oh, love the slow run.
Yeah, but every time she runs, I've noticed this in Lab Rats.
Yeah.
They'll just go at like a normal speed, and then they'll just add motion blur.
How good is that?
When she lands, it completely destroys where she's landing. And like, if that is how a superhero lands, they must pay so much money for all the property damage they cause. I hate seeing that in a superhero movie where they'll just destroy. Like, I know it's to show how powerful they are, but like, if you can't do anything without causing immense amount of damage, what are you doing?
You did, but I don't.
Jake, I mean, just listen to everyone.
You have my consent for this video.
I don't know, kind of suspect.
Yeah.
No, but straight up, that's like Adam's strength, and she's displaying it. She just has super speed. Davenport can cover everything. He'll pay for all the damages. He'll pay for all the lives that have been lost.
Hey, maybe that's Davenport Tower.
I don't think it is. But I don't.
No, it's probably just someone's house.
They probably didn't have the Davenport Tower asset ready when they were making this theme song.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Because they're just on a random skyscraper.
Just a random skyscraper, Just the slow.
But also the masking. The masking around them.
The masking around them is, I get blue screens are kind of hard to work with sometimes. You're just going to call that done. You're just going to look at that and go, that's a job. I did my job today. I'm done. Going home. But when you're doing something like this, you're supposed to mask them out either with an actual mask or using the color mat or color key. And if it doesn't work the first time, then you do one, get it as close as you can, do another one with a separate color.
So we're going to be doing a 10-year retrospective crypto drop, our very first NFT drop on Maker's Place this upcoming Friday.
Hey there, I just wanted to quickly address an issue that has blown up surrounding the environmental impact of NFTs. This topic honestly deserves a deep dive, so I've decided to make a dedicated video interviewing experts so that we can all get a better idea of the real issues.
Slightly different gradient, and so you can get it as close as possible without, cutting them off. But it looks like they just kind of drew a circle, or like drew a very quick line around them and called it good. Because you can see they cut off his thumb right there.
No!
Yeah, totally missing his thumb.
And also his whole face is like condensed and he just looks like his head looks like a
straight
thumb. Now. His lightsaber's only casting light on him and Bree, and then not. That's
yeah. No, the lightsaber has no light on him whatsoever, and then it just for some reason at his hand has a hilt made out of light.
That raises the question: his lightsaber's only coming out of this hand. So how is he spinning it 180 degrees around him? Man, what a show. All right, Kobe, do you think it'd be possible to recreate this theme song with no budget and no resources?
I could do it with the kazoo in 2 hours.
Okay.
Yeah, that's great.
That's enough. That's enough.
That's enough. This is scaring me so bad. This is great.
The art still sucks.
It's terrible.
In Episode 5, Need for Speed, we receive word that Davenport has returned to the hometown of Mission Creek to help Tasha out in the final leg of her pregnancy, which was revealed in the Lab Rat season finale. This implies that Davenport was around for the previous 2 episodes, just entirely off-screen. However, Douglas returns in his place. The show does more classic Lab Rats Elite Force antics.
Oliver? No, you're not nearly as scrawny as Chase said you were.
That's because I'm Oliver.
The alien girl. You know, I'm kind of disappointed. I thought you'd have 3 heads.
Don't be silly. You shed the other 2 when you're a kid and then leave them under your pillow for the head fairy.
A little Elite Force gossip. Scrawny is jelly because Bookworm got Alien her powers back.
Douglas decides to make the team new mission suits, but he and Chase butt heads over how to design it. Douglas uses Oliver as a test subject while he designs his, and Chase uses Kaz as a test subject while he designs his. Then they send Oliver and Kaz to battle each other in the most intentionally awkward and pathetic skirmish of all time. This is the only storyline in the show that made me laugh. This is the only subplot of the show that I liked. The B-plot of Season 4, Episode 5 is the only aspect of this series that justifies its own existence. In the A-plot, meanwhile, Bree is the star of a shoe commercial and has let that fame all go to her head. When she has the idea to show off and super speed run backwards, she accidentally trips and almost kills a baby, but Skylar heroically pulls it out of the way. The commercial's director, which I'm fairly certain is not a powerful position, decides on the spot to replace Bree with Skylar in the commercials. The executives funding the commercial can go suck a lemon, apparently. After the girls bicker, the director decides that they should have a race, and whoever is faster can star in the commercial. Why does Skylar have super speed? That's never been mentioned as being her powers before. She's listed her missing powers countless times. This is our 53rd episode knowing Skylar Storm, and it's wild just how many left field character retcons are stacking up for the Mighty Med guys, yet Chase and Bree remain consistent. So, they race and they tie, but the director looks at the slow motion cameras, and he sees them constantly battling throughout the journey with no regard for pedestrians, and deems that neither of them are heroes at all, putting neither of them in the commercial. The unnamed director is the first person in Lab Rats Elite Force who has morals. Skylar and Bree are like, oh man, we were selfish, or whatever, and that's it. Skylar has 14 toes.
Is it free shoes? I wonder if they have anything for girls with 14 toes.
Wait, you really have 14 toes?
Duh, I'm an alien. 8 and 6.
Finally, the gang suits up in their proper mission suits for the first time. How badass! Very cool. Best shit I ever saw. Life-changing. I pissed myself. That's incredible. That's amazing. Very cool. Wow. I'm literally going to name my firstborn child Lab Rats Elite Force because of how epic this shot is.
Oh yeah. We make this look good.
Bitch, no you don't. In episode 6, Follow the Leader, Chase discovers Perry casually sleeping in the Mission Command Center and treating it as a vacation getaway. Mistaking her for an intruder, Chase accidentally fries the control panel, locking him inside the room with her, meaning he has to miss out on a mission, with Skylar temporarily in charge while the team goes. Why are they going on missions? I'm not sure, we'll talk about that in a sec. After the mission goes smoothly and everyone loves Skylar as mission leader, considerably more than Chase, which is fair because he sucks at everything, he yells at Perry in this episode. How could he do that? We have to protect her. I hate Chase. So then, when the next mission comes, Chase decides to sabotage Skylar and lock her in mission command, still with Perry, so that he can lead the group on a mission to evacuate a collapsing subway tunnel. Also, poor Paris lost her voice in this episode and it kinda hurt to listen to.
The team needed someone to lead, so I did. And Kaz asked me for help, so I helped.
So, back at the subway, eat fresh, the mission doesn't go smoothly. And now, let's just focus on the question. Why are they going on missions? What is even the premise of the show? Calm the fuck down, okay? Stop yelling. They're operating out of Sitcom City because Davenport happened to have a high-tech facility there, and they're supposedly using it to track down and apprehend Roman and Riker. That's the entire goal of the Elite Force, and yet here on episode 6, we have not seen or heard about any attempt to do that whatsoever past episode 1. They're just hanging out, treading their wheels. Sure, Mighty Med and Lab Rats had a lot of treading their wheels too, but during the portions of these shows that were primarily episodic, they didn't have this ticking clock hanging over the series. The rush to defeat Roman and Riker before they killed any more superheroes. You can't introduce a ticking clock make your characters aware of the ticking clock, and then spend the entire show showing your characters hanging out and starring in shoe commercials. But okay, I guess they're going on missions in Sitcom City on the side now. Why are they just evacuating a subway tunnel? In Lab Rats, they only went on missions that were too dangerous for humans, like particle colliders or runaway trains. There's a singular episode in Season 4 where Leo introduced a hotline that sent them on random mundane and boring fetch quests, but beyond that, the Lab Rats went on missions that no human could survive. Except Leo was usually there and survived. But here, they're just evacuating. Like literally, that's what law enforcement is for. Can the police in Sitcom City just do their damn job, please? This is such a waste of bionic abilities. There's no justification for them being here, especially because the Elite Force is a top secret mission. They're literally actively being hunted by Roman and Riker, despite the fact that they know where they live. Like at this point, they're probably just stalking them in the distance and being like, can you move on and try to find superheroes and stop evacuating a subway tunnel? Back at Mission Command, Principal Perry recognizes Skylar from the comic books and eagerly agrees to help her get back to the subway.
I know who you are! Donnie told me that the robots would be teaming with superheroes. I can't believe I'm in the presence of a real heroine.
Hello? You never acted that impressed around me.
That's because she's a comic book hero come to life, and you're a man-made dolly.
Perry happens to have memorized the underground network of tunnels and knows exactly which one leads to the subway where the Elite Force is. The show has now acknowledged the comic book lore of Mighty Med. All comic books are based off real-life events in this universe, transcribed by an omnipotent being called Ambrose. But that raises the question, what happened to Ambrose? Is he okay? If not, did comics stop coming out? Who'd be writing comics if he were killed in Mighty Med? And if he survived, how was the death of every superhero explained in the comic book universe? Because the Mighty Med Hospital itself never appeared in any comics, it couldn't have. Because obsessive comic book readers Wallace and Clyde spent all of Season 1 attempting to locate Mighty Med. They only discovered it because of Alan's comic, which explained that Mighty Med was a superhero hospital, and this was treated as a big deal in that episode. Are there just no more comic books now? Are the surviving superheroes on the run given comic books? Do Skylar, Kaz, and Oliver have comics about them now? So many questions have been raised, and there's no attempt to answer them whatsoever because I don't think the Lab Rats guys watched Mighty Med to know that these were questions in the first place. And you might be thinking, oh, you can't just dump a bunch of random exposition into random episodes. And I'd counter that by saying, 90% of Elite Force is already random exposition. It fit right in, why not? Skylar and Perry arrive at the subway tunnels, but a rock slide separates Chase, Skylar, and Perry from the others. Here, Perry rats on Chase for sabotaging the elevator, and Chase confesses to being jealous of Skylar for leading. Kaz is able to find and rescue them, and Chase makes the ultimate humble decision to step down as mission leader, permanently handing the reins to Skylar. Character-wise, I kinda like this. It's nice to see Chase admit he isn't perfect and like try to be a better person, but this is never really mentioned again, and they never go on a mission again, so it doesn't matter who's mission leader for the duration of the series. Episode 7, The List, serves as the mid-season finale and actually progresses the plot for the first time since the pilot. The episode opens with nostalgia for Lab Rats, as Chase finds a box of old plot devices from that series.
Dear Elite Force, I'm converting the basement into a nursery for the new baby, so please keep this stuff at the penthouse for me.
He's raising a baby in the basement? That kid's gonna have some serious issues.
What's this?
A cyber cloak. It's a virtual body disguise. It can make you take on anyone's appearance. One time, I got stuck looking like Bree and I had to go to the school dance with this guy named Jake. It's a memory wipe. It can erase minutes, hours, even years of someone's life.
Hey, if I use this on Skylar, maybe she'll forget all the stupid things I've said and want to date me.
I'm Bree. Whoosh, whoosh. I'm Chase. Smart, smart.
Kaz, what are you doing? Put those down.
Why, they're just dolls.
Action figures!
Kaz and Chase create a list of every surviving superhero and secretly send a warning message out to all of them. On this list is Crossbow, Skylar's mentor and best friend. Let me just rewatch every episode of Mighty Med to see if she was ever shown or mentioned. No, she was not. Anyways, she's currently in hiding as a groundskeeper at a park in Sitcom City. Skylar and Oliver visit her and warn her about Roman Riker, fearing that the message didn't get to her. Having eavesdropped earlier, Roman and Riker devise a plan. Riker shapeshifts into Kaz and sneaks into Mission Command to snatch the hero list by himself. The Mighty Med already did this. while Roman shows up to battle Skylar and Crossbow in the park. Bree captures Riker, but Roman captures Crossbow. They meet in Sitcom City, and they exchange Crossbow for Riker and the list of hundreds of superheroes, which sort of seems like a losing deal for the Elite Force. Suddenly, Crossbow heroically destroys the list, but Roman kills Crossbow in return. Back at Mission Command, the fact that Kaz and Oliver are superhero doctors is finally mentioned for the first time, and they use their knowledge to save Crossbow's life. Surgeries and operations in Mighty Med were always energetic and fun, but here it's so self-important and dour that it just is lifeless.
In the latest issue, the Crusher has just returned from the planet Ebrion.
Where the gravity is 40 times out of Earth.
He's crashing! Clear!
Maybe the extreme gravity pulled his heart from his chest down to his feet.
Oh, they're shocking the wrong place. Crossbow's gloves are powered by horologian pearls, right?
Just like the self-regeneration paddles at Mighty Man.
Exactly. So maybe we can use the energy from Crossbow's gloves to repair the damage to her body.
Yeah, we just need to direct the energy into her body instead of away from it.
Crossbow returns into the world, and we never see her again. And you know who else we never see again? Roman and Riker, the antagonists of the show! You see, they report to their father, Rodicius, cool name, who deems that he'll take it from here and that they've failed him. Of the 9 remaining episodes, guess how many progress this main storyline? Go ahead, guess! Just one! One! It's just the finale! The whole loose plot that this show has going for it is that some guy named Rodicius is mad at Kaz and Oliver for destroying his powers, and so now he wants to kill all superheroes in the world. And the Elite Force is trying to catch him, but they're not making any steps to do that at all. They're just vibing together. Meanwhile, Rodicius will also just kind of sit around for 9 more episodes, not doing anything, just as unproductive as the Elite Force, before finally staging his epic attack in episode 16. It's just painful. Lab Rat's Elite Force is a multi-stage aerobic capacity test that gets progressively more difficult as it continues. For some reason, there's just a handful of phrases that the writers of Lab Rats constantly relied on as a crutch, and I kind of found it really distracting how frequently these phrases would recur. For example, characters would constantly say, "I can't believe blank."
I can't believe you created another ridiculous setup.
Usually we'd hear this right after the commercial break, speaking about what just happened before the commercial break, but like 2 seconds ago for these characters.
I brought it here.
I can't believe you stole a llama and brought it here.
All of these phrases are back in full force in Lab Rat's Elite Force. So here's a compilation of every time a sentence starts with "I can't believe" across Lab Rats and Elite Force. This is a whole section that I cut from the Lab Rats video. I didn't want that one to be too long, but now I'm like, screw it. People watched an 8-hour Victorious video. It's gonna be however long I want. This will take a long time.
I can't believe we're actually at school.
I can't believe you did this.
I can't believe this is our last night in the lab.
I can't believe that just happened.
I can't believe I'm saying this.
I can't believe my science teacher says I'm always late to class.
I can't believe we tied. I can't believe we sold Tasha's jewelry box.
I can't believe we ruined his surprise.
I can't believe no one bought this peanut butter.
I can't believe you went behind my back and saw those freaky monster pig things.
I can't believe you let me take you to the movie when your mom said no.
I can't believe that worked. I can't believe she doesn't want us at her party.
I can't believe you let a virus into my mainframe.
I can't believe you almost ended up at the bottom of the ocean.
I can't believe you, Leo.
I can't believe you would do that.
I can't believe it.
I can't believe Adam said he's quitting.
I can't believe this.
I cannot believe I have to wake up to this.
I can't believe I have to wake up to that. I can't believe Big D has to race against Joey Logano.
I can't believe I'm losing so badly. I can't believe this.
I can't believe this.
I know.
I can't believe this.
I can't believe you stole a llama and brought it here. I can't believe you maxed out your strength after I specifically told you not to.
I can't believe you guys had to go on a mission on Christmas Eve.
I can't believe I'm finally getting to meet the bionic superhumans I've heard so much about.
I can't believe you actually did something nice.
I can't believe they're gone.
I can't believe your own brother would do this.
I can't believe the lab is gone.
I can't believe the media is hailing Principal Perry as a hero just for breaking my fall.
I can't believe I did this.
I
can't believe I'm actually fighting to get into this thing.
Wow, can't believe they took Perry.
I can't believe you went to that concert when I specifically told you not to.
I can't believe Leo told everyone that we were the screamers at the movie.
I can't believe I'm saying this.
I can't believe you got over your fear of sharks.
I can't believe this.
I can't believe this.
I can't believe you gave bionics to Leo.
I can't believe that people are so shallow. They only like us because we're bionic.
I can't believe I'm gonna meet Prince Landor.
I can't believe Principal Perry won.
I can't believe how fast you're putting this molecular model together.
I can't believe you're still here. I can't believe you did that for me. I can't believe we blew the mission.
I can't believe you guys saved me.
I can't believe you blamed this on me.
I can't believe you, Leo.
I can't believe those rescue workers got to the hikers before we did.
I can't believe we can't find that restaurant.
I can't believe you still believe we're looking for it.
I can't believe this is the end.
I can't believe Carrie would hurt her own aunt just to get away with more crimes.
I can't believe you did that.
I can't believe no one told me we were charging for missions.
I can't believe you guys messed up the combat simulation.
I can't believe it. Your team is actually winning.
I can't believe this is my last night here.
I can't believe you created another ridiculous setup.
I can't believe I'm actually standing here with 3 bionic heroes.
I'm not seeing anyone.
I can't believe this.
And I can't believe that didn't work. I can't believe they're not smart enough to find a way out of the pool. I can't believe this is happening.
I can't believe Perry only has one guest.
I can't believe I'm missing that.
I can't believe you.
I can't believe you came up with that idea all on your own.
Can't believe it.
I can't believe I'm gonna have a real life college experience.
I can't believe I'm actually saying this, but since we have an extra ticket, should we maybe offer it to Perry?
I can't believe you guys started a fire.
I can't believe you never told me.
I can't believe the spaceship's been under the island all this time.
I can't believe you guys got to live down here.
I can't believe it.
I can't believe you let them take Skylar.
I can't believe you came through. I can't believe you came through.
I can't believe this is really happening.
I can't believe I was duped by a barnyard animal.
I can't believe you came to support my commercial.
I can't believe I'm sitting next to the Chase Davenport.
I can't believe I'm in the presence of a real heroine.
Can't believe Clutch chose Kaz to be his honorary spotter. I can't believe we're gonna be killed by your alien bestie.
I can't believe I'm saying this.
I can't believe my serum didn't work. I can't believe you're lying to me.
I can't believe I actually have superpowers.
This took me like a whole day to isolate and compile these, so I really hope you appreciated the effort. Similarly, because it sounds dramatic and edgy to a 14-year-old, characters will constantly say, take blank out, like take us out, take them out, take him out.
Oh, it'll take you out too.
If taking me out means saving others, then do it.
I can't.
He's gonna take me out anyway. You might as well take him out too.
Because they can't say kill. They really leaned into this in season 4. So here's, once again, every instance of take blank out across Lab Rats and Lab Rats Elite Force.
They could take out everything from here to Tijuana.
Take out that alarm.
Take out the alarm.
We can take this thing out.
I can take him out with the sprinklers.
We could take out the control console and deactivate the laser source.
Take out the pods.
So you better take me out too. And I will take you out!
Take out Crane's bionic thugs.
We gotta take out that satellite dish. Every time we take out 5, 20 more show up.
We don't have to take out the army. If we take out Crane to take us out one by one. Otis was the one who tried to take you out.
Find me and take me out.
Now we can finally take them out. Troy could take us out with this.
Takes out your entire network.
Take them out.
Please don't take it out. Please don't take it out.
I'll take them out.
Gotta be some sort of internal power source we can take out so they'll deactivate.
Which one of you should I take out first?
When he tried to take my chip out, I took him out.
Take them out.
I'm taking you out first. We won't just take out bionic humans. We'll take out all humans.
Oh, it'll take you out too.
If taking me out means saving others, then do it. He's gonna take me out anyway. You might as well take him out too. You tried to crush Leo and take us all out.
You tried to take us out. I take these two out with me.
I'm not having Crane's virus take me out.
Take him out. I'm gonna take you out.
It'll take us out before the bridge does.
Take out the limo's computer.
That thing is gonna blow and take out the whole island.
Need you 3 to take the spacecraft out.
Use your super speed to take him out.
Take out all bionic superhumans.
Easily take out you and Marcus.
If you're gonna take anyone out, take me.
Douglas, you do realize that if he takes you out, I'm tied to you, so he'll take me out too.
They're gonna take out every last superhero, including us.
Well, they're gonna take us out a lot faster.
Now can we take them out?
take out that fly.
I'll take him out with my super strength.
They'll take out every superhero on it.
We gotta take him out.
This took me a whole day to find these and edit these. It wasn't really worth it. Back to, Elite Force! Lab Rats Elite Force is the name of this program! Hi, it's now over 3 months since I edited the first half of this video. I kind of forgot about it. I've been working on animating a Transformers pilot that I'm doing, and every day I woke up and I was like, do I want to work on Elite Force or Transformers? And my brain was like, Transformers, 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 and I was like, okay, and then I animated Transformers every day for 3 months, and I was like, woo, but the other day I woke up and I was like, you know, Elite Force could be fun, so I'm back, hi. Episode 8, Coming Through in the Clutch, is directed by Hal Sparks, meaning he was on set with everyone, but tragically not present in the episode. Oliver's favorite bodybuilder comes to town, and I raise an eyebrow at this premise. The preppy, scholarly honors student having a bodybuilder idol. Could happen, I suppose, but in the world of Elite Force, where the show constantly says Oliver is a scrawny, pathetic dork/loser, my eyebrow raises so high that it physically detaches from my forehead and travels vertically exponentially. Infinitely. At the park again, Cass is a jerk for no reason and nabs Oliver's opportunity to be Clutch's spotter. When Clutch struggles for a moment, Oliver attempts to rush in and help, but accidentally fumbles and breaks Clutch's foot in the process. Seeing Oliver feeling extremely guilty, Skylar decides to abduct Clutch and bring him back to the tower so that Oliver can use his medical expertise to fix his foot. He begs them to let him go. They don't. Oliver just keeps failing to heal him because he isn't a regular doctor, and laugh tracks keep laughing as Clutch is in agonizing pain. And that is eye crime number. Meanwhile, Bob, a student from the Bionic Island in Lab Rats, is at the park to hit on Bree. He's a lot older now, but that's still an icky age difference. No, I don't like that. This episode also provides clarification on the Lab Rats finale. In the finale, after all the Bionic students lost their powers, the main Lab Rats got their powers back, but it was never clear if all the students at the Academy did as well. Now though, we learned that Bob still has Bionics, meaning that the students at the Bionic Island were definitely reinstilled with Bionics as well. Chase has always wanted to compete in the Olympics, which is again, very out of character for someone who claims to hate sports and athleticism, but he can't due to his Bionics disqualifying him. However, the Children's Mini Olympics have no rules about Bionics and he decides to coach Bob on how to win. Bree, rivaling Chase, decides to coach a little girl named Zoe and use her Bionics to help Zoe compete. Both subplots end somehow. Who cares? I don't care. This is the first and only episode to pair Bree with Chase and group the 3 Mighty Med characters together. All the previous and future episodes have some combination of the 5. In episode 9, The Intruder, the Elite Force holds a boys versus girls competition to see who can go the longest without using their powers.
You ladies are going down. I mean, when you calculate the statistical odds and factor in the lopsided ratio of the 3 of us against the 2 of you, the boys have an 86.37% chance of winning.
Interesting. And how exactly did you calculate those odds?
Yeah, I'm out.
A 10-year-old genius who lives in the building named AJ manages to break into the Mission Command Center. Chase and Douglas spend the episode upping security to keep AJ out, but aren't able to do so, with AJ managing to successfully hack Chase's bionic chip, literally making him smarter than Chase, who hasn't done that to anyone else without using a pre-installed override app. Ultimately, AJ causes Chase's magnetism app to glitch, causing the building's entire foundation to rattle as everything pulls towards him slowly, and one at a time. Everything except for these bar stools, this umbrella, the laptop in AJ's bag, these cabinet drawers, the house decor, and Bree's metal spine. Everything except those. AJ has the idea to put Chase in his capsule and factory reset him.
Got it.
There. That should do it.
In the end, Chase sees that AJ is lonely and allows him to hang out as an ally to the Elite Force. And the other Elite Force members are slowly eliminated from the contest one by one as they use their powers. The winner is Skylar. The loser is anyone watching Lab Rats Elite Force. In episode 10, The Rock, Hal Sparks is back behind the camera, and everyone's getting annoyed with AJ, especially when he creates a list and ranks them from most valuable to least valuable. Mighty Med already did this. Chase is rated the least valuable, which I kinda doubt because Oliver just squirts water from his fingers. Chase is butthurt and AJ feels bad, so he decides to single-handedly engineer a hover bike that's faster than Bree, nerfing Bree even further. Kaz, meanwhile, reveals that he's a hoarder and that he saved absolutely everything he could from Mighty Med Hospital.
I can never throw anything away. I can't help it, I'm a hoarder.
What is all this junk?
Oliver, you know what all of this is! It's kind of sweet to see all these on the x-ray of a rocket in the crusher. There's Horace's chief of staff mug, the suggestion box, and then this is literally the prosthetic for Arachnia's head. This isn't an object. The prop department for Elite Force didn't watch Mighty Med and didn't know what this was supposed to be, meaning that Kaz just grabbed this lady's disembodied scalp from the ruins of Mighty Med and dropped it in his hoarder cave on top of a mannequin head. And then AJ casually finds,
Whoa! What's this?
That's the Arcturian.
This is what gave you two your superpowers?
Thought it was destroyed when Roman and Riker took out Mighty Med.
Yeah, I thought so too. It must have ended up in one of the storage bins. I didn't even know it was down here.
how do you not know the Arcturian's in here? And to be fair, Kaz would forget. But he said it so boringly, he played this line so straight. Like, that was supposed to read as a joke, right? I didn't even know it was down here. Also, it's worth noting, Mr. Terror, Oliver's mom, took the Arcturian when she disappeared at the end of season 2. So if the Arcturian was back in Mighty Med when it blew up, that means they must have gotten it back from her at one point, and then later defeated her when Mighty Med blew up. Also, she drained the Arcturian in that season 2 finale. It's just white and devoid of power, but now in Elite Force, it's pink again and has power again. So they must have drained her powers back into the Arcturian at some point. Anyways, Bree is jealous because she's the least valuable, and she absorbs the power of the Arcturian.
No, Bree, don't!
Now, Skylar has to bring Bree back to life, while Oliver and Kaz have to rescue AJ on the runaway hover bike. The bike that's faster than Bree. They fly as fast as it, which means that Bree is canonically the least fast member of this team because all 4 other members can go as fast as her or faster. It's Chase's fault that the bike is glitching out, but he doesn't take responsibility and he blames AJ, the 10-year-old, because he sucks. Everything in this show sucks! Rather than Bree using her powers to save the day, thus merging the A-plot and the B-plot like a good story would do, and like Andy Schwartz did in his episode, this episode opts to not have them cross over whatsoever. Kaz and Oliver just kind of stop the bike, and Bree just kind of has alien superpowers that she isn't revealing to the team yet, for no particular reason. The Arcturian gets brought back to Facility Y for safe storage. We have no clue what Facility Y is, but it sounds important. Also, Kelly Berglund comments on a scene from this episode in an interview in 2020, and it's really funny because she tries to like dramatically distance herself from it.
It's my fault for thinking the rock would fix everything.
This is so dramatic. This was really fun. Paris, who I do this scene with, is like one of my best friends, so it's really funny looking back at us. Little babies, we're so young in this.
She's like, oh, it was so long ago back when I was little. At the time of this interview, this scene was filmed 4 years ago. Kelly was in her 20s while filming this scene. Don't be ashamed of the Lab Rats franchise, Kelly. Oh, and speaking of Kelly, Berglund / Bree, I want to talk about something. This may be common knowledge by now, but when shows are in development, they're often given a test first episode to show to executives called a pilot. Sometimes these pilots wind up being the first episode of the show once they start airing, or at least a season 1 episode. Other times, they're strictly for executives to see, and new first episodes get created once the shows go into production. In Quentin Reviews' Sam and Cat video, he spends a long time talking about the cancelled Gibby pilot, a show that had a first episode produced but never entered production. It's technically considered lost media, although I don't think that title makes sense because this is something that was never released nor intended to be released. Something can't really be lost if you never had it in the first place. But technically it's called lost media, and Lab Rats had a production pilot as well. Before Lab Rats was Lab Rats, it was The $1 Billion Freshman. In the summer of 2010, they filmed their pilot episode. It would have been about two brothers, Adam and Brad, who are government engineer robots, scheduled to be demolished and replaced by upgraded versions. But when the brothers hear this information, they escape and try to hide in the real world disguised as humans. On YouTube right now, you can find two videos of kids auditioning for a character named Click, who I'm guessing evolved into Leo.
And you shot a map out of your eyes. That is the coolest thing I have ever seen. What are you? Hobo aliens?
Oh, we got a jet. Agent O is coming.
Who's Agent O?
Some guy who wants to kill us and use our skulls to pimp his ride.
Cool. Hey, come on my garage.
Is it safe?
Yeah. I mean, something died in there, but it barely smells.
You just lifted a dumpster with one hand.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did.
Yes, I did.
I know you did.
Not clear if they're reading like the actual script or just temp throwaway lines for them to audition with, but these exist. There's a lot of differences. Hal Sparks was playing a character named Gil L. Arroy instead of Donald Davenport, and Brad, who later became Chase, is the one who had super speed. Bree was not present at all in the original pilot. So after pilots are filmed, there's a lot of workshopping, focus group test audiences, and it seems pretty natural to me that the executives wanted a girl to be included in a major role. So it seems to me that the character Bree was most likely thrown in at the producer's request, but since they already had this whole dynamic figured out for the two brothers, Bree didn't really factor into that already, and so they kind of just had no plan for her or what her personality was. I feel like that's why she's so inconsistent early on compared to Adam and Chase, who are pretty figured out. This is another thing I wanted to talk about during the original Lab Rats video, but I cut for time. And while we're here, because I don't think this will ever organically come up again, I want to talk about the canceled pilot for Jonas. I'm not talking about Jonas, the show that came out in 2009. I'm talking about JONAS, which stood for Junior Operatives Networking as Spies. They filmed this in 2008. The Jonas Brothers were gonna be secret agents. The Chelsea girl was like a writer for a teen magazine. Not realizing the brother's a secret agent, she goes on dates with all three of them without them telling each other, without them knowing. It would have been all about secrets. They decided to scrap it in favor of just doing a more traditional Jonas Brothers show because they were way too famous by this point to have them pretend to be other characters. So then they changed it, they changed the whole concept, and we got the 2010 show. But I just want to point out this exists.
Access granted for an exclusive look at what's coming in 2008 to Disney Channel. Begins in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Somewhere there's a 22-minute episode of a Jonas Brothers spy show, which just deep locked in the Disney vault. Honestly, I care about this 100 times more than Billion Dollar Freshman. I don't care about seeing that. That doesn't need to be uncovered. I want the world to uncover the Jonas Brothers spy show, because that sounds sick, yo. It wouldn't have been good, but I mean, it would have been interesting. Okay, that's all. Now, we reach the show's only two-parter, episodes 11 and 12, Home Sweet Home. Skylar's friend from Caldera comes to visit, Scarlet, and properly abiding to the Mighty Med lore, she's played by Paris Burrells, because all Calderan women look exactly like Skylar. And the respectful homages to Mighty Med don't end there. Scarlet stays for a while and tries to convince Skylar to return home, but she ultimately refuses. So Scarlet simply kidnaps Skylar and forcibly brings her back.
We'll never forget you, Mabel. Because we're gonna kidnap you.
Huh?
This leads Oliver and Bree to use a wormhole transporter to embark on a rescue mission. To Caldera! It's back! And at this point, while watching, I knew that someone from Mighty Med had to be involved in this one because it just felt fun. And yes, Andy Schwartz did this one. Caldera has fallen into a civil war. The government wants to help people, but a rebellion group wants to help themselves. That's all the information we get. That's all the information we need.
There's been a war between the old leadership who believe we should use our powers to help others throughout the universe, and the opposition who believe we should keep all Calderans here and only help ourselves. So you brought me here to help you fight the opposition? No. I am the opposition.
Scarlet, a member of the Naughty Resistance, wants to weaponize Skylar's powers to defeat the government once and for all. But Skylar's like, no, bibbidi bop kazow. I can't be pressured, no way, no how. When Scarlet finds Oliver and Bree, she holds them as collateral and reveals her trump card.
If you're so tough, why don't you get out here and fight us face to face?
Because I don't have to.
No!
She just, I think, knocks them over? Oh my god, that's terrifying. What a cliffhanger! Bree's able to send an email to Chase and Kaz for help. Meanwhile, what have they been doing? Well, they've been busy contradicting the lore of Lab Rats, because I don't think Andy Schwartz watched that show. Remember how androids are pure evil in that show, automatically destined to turn bad no matter what, as that show constantly stated time after time? Now, Chase makes an android to be a girlfriend, named Christina, which is just so clearly something he would never do after countless betrayals from androids. The android falls in love with Kaz instead. Chase then proceeds to build 6 more androids, and all of them fall in love with Kaz as well. Kaz is loving it, and the weirdest thing of all is that Chase calls her a cyborg.
Her real name is Cyborg 45172, but Christina seemed catchier.
An android is an artificial human purely made out of circuitry with a flesh finish. A bionic human is just a regular human with a chip inside them. A cyborg is a human with metal add-ons on the outside.
I am the evil cyborg mega tractoid.
Clearly very different. She's not a cyborg. Chase knows she's not a cyborg, but Andy Schwartz didn't know that, and Chris and Peter apparently didn't proofread the script or just didn't really care enough to keep their own universe consistent with itself. Chase, Kaz, and Kaz's 7 android girlfriends, who are all too old for him, travel to Caldera. Bree, Oliver, and Skylar spend all 20 minutes in this episode standing and talking in a cage, while Scarlet taunts them like, I'ma drop you in lava soon. At one point, Bree mentions that she has a bionic ability called a Turbo Leap.
I have super speed, vocal manipulation, turbo leap, and invisibility.
This is not an alien superpower. This is a bionic ability that we've never seen before and she just casually has, which is bizarre because Lab Rats made such a big deal about new abilities every time they were introduced. Where'd this come from? I don't think Andy Schwartz understood the lore of Lab Rats, and he just thought he could give them random bionic powers like he did with superheroes and Mighty Med all the time, and Chris and Brian either didn't care or weren't involved. I don't get the feeling that very much passion went into this series at all.
Kiss me.
Never.
Also, she only lists 4 here, but in The Rock, AJ said she has 5 abilities. The wiki speculates that Bree's ability to stick to walls is the 5th ability, but she simply forgot about it because she only used it once in Lab Rats. We appreciate the vigilant wiki users working hard to fill in the gaps of this universe. We love the work you do. You guys are awesome. Finally, Chase and Kaz arrive. Chase casually opens the cage using molecular kinesis, and Bree uses her alien superpowers to save the day, revealing them to the team once and for all. All of them are chill, and they don't really react, raising the question of why she hit it in the first place. All of the girlfriends take Scarlet away to an unknown punishment, and the gang returns to Earth. Back at home, Skylar's depressed that her home planet has plunged into civil war, but Bree has great advice.
You know, now that they've torn Caldera apart, it's never gonna be the same. My home is gone.
No. This is your home.
Yeah. You belong here. With us. With me.
That's right, Skylar. Sure, thousands and millions of people are going to die and a whole way of life has been disrupted, but you don't live there. You don't have to care. What an important life lesson.
What if I asked you to create a bunch of hot robot dudes to worship me?
Trust me, it's not worth it. They'll just like Kaz.
Episode 13, Sheep Shifting, is the most pointless episode of this entire show, which is saying a lot because I don't think there are any pointful episodes of this show. There's no structure to it. Things just happen. Interestingly, Bradley Stephen Perry actually directs this one. I don't think it's visually any better or worse than any other episode. Good for him, proud of him, we love him here. Chase tries to learn more about Roman and Riker's shapeshifting abilities by creating a shapeshifting potion, but Kaz drinks it while Chase isn't around and accidentally shapeshifts into a sheep, thus allowing him to be behind the camera for most of the episode. Kaz isn't able to convert back, and Chase realizes that Kaz's mental capacity also became that of a sheep. Luckily, it's no big deal, it'll wear off soon, but Chase doesn't communicate to Bree that Kaz is a sheep, and she says, there's a sheep in our living room. I'll just bring it to the local petting zoo and not ask any questions, and then she proceeds to do so. Skylar finally agrees to a date with Oliver, and he spends the first half of the episode preparing in the creepiest ways possible very publicly in front of Skylar, and she still goes through with the date, and it's like, wow, this is cool. They have a date on the balcony of the place where they live, because this show doesn't have a budget for a basic restaurant. Yo babe, let's go on a first date on our deck. Meanwhile, Principal Perry is paranoid. You see, she was apparently a child star in a hit series, and in the 50 years since, a cast or crew member has died every single year on Halloween. She's now the only surviving member of the entire production in any capacity, and she demands that Bree protect her. And a huge aspect of Perry's character was just random, completely contradictory backstories for her as frequently as possible, like she's Heinz Doofenshmirtz, so I'm okay with this, even though she did not mention this in Lab Rats' Halloween episode, but whatever, it's an alright subplot. And speaking of that previous Halloween episode, Bree says a line that threw me off.
I'm 17.
She's 17. No, she literally isn't. When Lab Rats begins, she's 15. Season 1 doesn't have any specific episode set on a holiday, but Season 2 has a Christmas episode, then Season 3 has a Christmas episode, then Season 4 has a Halloween episode, and now Elite Force has a Halloween episode, so a minimum of 4 years have passed. And I think it's more than that. In the 6th to last episode of Lab Rats, Bree and Chase sadly reflect on how they missed out on a traditional college experience while being bionic instructors. So if we're to assume that only 4 years have passed, that puts Bree at 18 in spring of her senior year, and that puts Chase at 17 in spring of his junior year. But whatever, he's a genius. Maybe he skipped billions of grades, it's possible. But once Lab Rats finally decided what Bree's personality would be in mid-season 2, they decided she wasn't too bright, so I don't think she'd be the type to skip a grade based on her modern characterization. For this episode to work, there'd have to be another off-screen Christmas in Season 1, putting Lab Rats Elite Force 5 years after Season 1 of Lab Rats. Either way, she's definitely 19 or 20 here. Her actor's clearly, elderly by now. She ain't 17. And it's just odd that the show no longer pays attention to its own established timeline. No one cares anymore. Anyways, Perry is fine. Kaz just turns into a human again at the petting zoo. The date goes fine. There's no rising action. There's no climax. Things just happen. They aren't particularly funny or clever. They're just genuinely lifeless and pointless. Today I'm gonna put on my big boy pants and fess up to several things I got incorrect during my Lab Rats and Mighty Med videos that hundreds of billions of people pointed out. I mistakenly called this superhero Owl Girl. However, as many people told me, this is Mesmera. I would like to apologize to Mesmera and her family. Secondly, while no one in the comments section said anything about it, Trinity got mad at me when I made fun of how Augie Isaac looks. I said I was expecting him to have a Neville Longbottom glow-up, and he never had one. She informs me that he is a perfectly, adequately looking man, and I needed to apologize. So I would like to apologize to Augie Isaac and his family. Thirdly, oh my gosh. In episode 3 of Lab Rats, I thought that they were on the school's football field here, and I was thinking, why is this their whole football field? But I would say trillions of people. More people wrote comments about this than there are people on the planet. This is simply the dog park next door. I missed that detail.
I can't condone such a violent game on school grounds. So let's take it to the dog park across the street!
It's shocking to me just how large a quantity of people remembered for a fact that this was the dog park and immediately commented it. So I would like to apologize to the dog park and its family. And then finally, a lot of people were like, hey, why do you put the T first in LGBTQ? Was that part of the joke? It was really distracting. That was an accident. I thought the T came first. No one told me. Already talked about that a lot in my The Prom video, but I'd like to apologize to LGBTQ and its family. Please watch the prom video. I literally think it's the funniest thing I've ever made, but no one watched it. Dude, it was so good. My finest work. And then lastly, okay, I got one last wild, wacky conspiracy theory. Call me Q, because I'm about to go full anon. Remember that Lab Rats Mighty Med crossover episode? I believe that in order for that to happen, the main actors would have had to sign on for an additional episode. Bradley Stephen Perry and Jake Short appearing in Lab Rats wasn't originally on their contract, and Tyrell Jackson Williams, Spencer Boldman, William Brent, and Kelly Berglund appearing in an episode of Mighty Med wasn't in their contracts. So think about it. In that Lab Rats episode, Skylar doesn't come with Kaz and Oliver. I think she easily could have, from a script perspective. Adam, Bree, Chase, and Leo are the only 4 characters who appear in every single episode of Lab Rats, whereas Kaz, Skylar, and Oliver are the 3 characters who appear in every episode of Mighty Med, so Skylar not being in the Lab Rats episode seems like a weird anomaly. I feel like the only reason she wasn't there was because Paris Burrells didn't want to sign a contract to appear in another thing. And if that's true, that's understandable. She was like 18 working insane hours. It's not that deep of a conspiracy theory. It's just I thought it in my head and then I shared it. We can move on now. Thank you for listening. In episode 14, Game of Drones, Oliver's jealous that Kaz is spending so much time with Chase while they build a drone together for a drone race. Oh, Kaz, famously interested in mechanical engineering. Oliver decides to show them up by making his own drone to compete. Meanwhile, Principal Perry reveals that she comes from a long line of circus performers, and it's an important rite of passage for the woman of the family to walk a tightrope. Okay. So Bree preps her for a tightrope walk across the city from the top of Davenport Tower, but uh-oh! During the drone race, Chase and Oliver's drones cause Perry to fall! Oh my god, it's so dramatic! Ah! I had no notes. During this episode, things were just happening. I was so tired of this. Episode 15, they grow up so fast. Sees Tasha visit Centrum City! Casually walking in as if this wasn't the first time seeing her in almost 2 years.
Hey guys!
Hey! She is?
I'll fix that entrance, hold on.
Hey guys!
Man, at this point, almost the entire supporting cast of Lab Rats has shown up, but not a soul from Mighty Med. If Elite Force actually cared about the series that 3/5 of its cast hailed from, you'd have Horace or Alan or Gus popping in. Wallace and Clyde helping to track down other heroes, but that doesn't happen at all, which sucks. Because I knew going into this that the Lab Rats characters would appear, and I was actively anticipating appearances from the Mighty Med cast as well, only to sadly realize that it simply wouldn't happen at all as each episode came and went. Chase works on an age reversal device, but it isn't working yet. It only seems to be aging things up. Bree babysits Tasha's infant daughter Naomi, who cries when Bree holds her and is only calm when Skylar holds her. When Bree's distracted by cleaning baby food off her shirt, yeah, you know where this is going.
I don't know. She's doing a great job at dusting the floor. Oh, look, she thinks it's a toy.
Finally. Kneecaps.
Mighty Med already did this. Now a 16-year-old with the mind of an infant, Naomi causes chaos around Davenport Tower, and Bree has to hide her from Tasha, who, despite leaving for Bree to babysit Naomi, proceeds to spend the rest of the episode in the penthouse. Like she was gone for 5 minutes, now she's just back.
Yes, it's working. Oh no.
I didn't get a great look at her before. Did she always look like that?
How could this happen?
I don't know. I should have tested it on more fruit. Where's my fruit?
Sorry.
In the end, just as Bree prepares to confess, Chase gets the de-ager to work and reverse Naomi to an infant, just in time for Tasha to collect her and return home. This is her final appearance by Tasha. We love you! The finale. The attack. directed by William Brandt himself. Chase shows up with a new girlfriend he met at the library. And if you've seen Lab Rats, you're probably thinking, one of the Lab Rats made a new friend, they're probably an evil double agent. And that is a correct assessment if you assessed that. Chase doesn't detect this though because he's the dumbest character in any fiction or non-fiction. The city is terrorized by just the dust clouds of Roman and Riker, not the actors, they don't speak. Then there's a citywide blackout.
Blackout, blackout,
Blackout.
blackout,
Blackout.
the blackout,
The blackout. 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 Blackout.
Save the island.
And the Elite Force heads out to just save some people, I guess. Stop the bad guys. Perry and Reese is the girlfriend, give themselves makeovers while Douglas activates Davenport Tower's emergency generator. On some random-ass street, the Elite Force are finally introduced to Odysseus, who reveals that he has many children he got around, and they're all shapeshifters. There's an epic, intense battle. Wow, oh my god, ooh, whoa, watch this, whoa! Reese is Odysseus' daughter. I love the alliteration he relied on while naming his children. Word on the street is that his youngest daughter's name is just the letter R.
Come on, hurry up and download.
Wait, there's more to my makeover. I painted all my toes to look like our future children.
Well, you know the rules! No kids in Mission Command!
Reese. What are you doing?
And at this point, there's 5 minutes left in the episode, and I saw someone evil and naughty coming towards Douglas, and I was like, no, leave that gorgeous man alone. Reese, if you lay a finger on him, I'll fuck you up, bitch, I swear to God. Anyway, she didn't listen to me, she had no obligation to, she doesn't know me, also she's fictional. She shoots and badly injures Douglas, then steals the superhero list, despite the fact that it was already destroyed last time it showed up. Then she blocks all communication from the tower and leaves. And Odysseus is like, Reese is my daughter, we betrayed you, losers, I win, and he leaves. And then the team returns to Davenport Tower, with Douglas's life hanging in the balance, and all the superheroes in danger once again. Chase declares,
If it's a war they want, then we'll give them one.
you thought. And that, right there, is the end of the Lab Rats franchise as we know it. A franchise which wasn't even meant to be a franchise. A franchise which was only retroactively called a franchise as two completely different, diametrically opposed series got slammed together in ways that completely contradicted both of them. And while Elite Force's contradictions of Lab Rats weren't terrible, Elite Force's contradictions of Mighty Med absolutely gutted that show's rotting corpse, forcefully wrenching and shredding the heart and soul of the iconic classic. Nothing about Elite Force is so bad it's good. That's how I describe Lab Rats and Mighty Med, but not this. The budget is so much lower. They couldn't afford set pieces or location variety, so the entire superhero show was spent in a living room and a broom closet. Even things that don't cost money, like script revisions and proper story structure, just aren't present most of the time. Not only was the budget a negative amount of potatoes per episode, but I truly just don't think much passion or care went into this, and I don't get the impression that this was a series anyone involved particularly wanted to make. It comes across as a product. You know how in episodes of shows there's usually 2 or 3 names that show up in the beginning after the cold open? In Elite Force, there's 10. There is literally a full minute of names popping up in each episode, as all the producers and executives get their contractually obligated credits. There were too many cooks in the kitchen, and microwaving a hot dog was the largest amount of effort that any of these cooks were willing to put in. On a fundamental level, Elite Force never justified why it existed, neither in real life nor in universe. We watched a family grow together for 98 episodes, only for Daddy Davy to rip them apart in the series finale for the highly important top-secret mission of sitting around in a penthouse sometimes. Chase and Bree don't even seem to miss their brothers. Leo's never mentioned again, and Adam's only mentioned in passing once.
I told Skylar she was like a sister to me, and then out of nowhere, she started throwing me around like Adam does with Chase. She gave me a wedgie.
It's emotionally hollow. It's nothing. The show flopped harder than either Mighty Med or Lab Rats at either of their lowest points, and is remembered overwhelmingly negatively by fans of both series. It wasn't what the creators wanted, it wasn't what the fans wanted, and after it didn't generate sufficient revenue, it proved that it wasn't what the network wanted either, and the series was silently discarded, disappearing into the void of forgotten IPs and worthless franchises. Lab Rats Elite Force marked the end of an era. Lab Rats Elite Force was sorta lame. But we can't end the video on that note. A while back, I asked all of you on YouTube.com what you think a continuation of the shows should look like. Let's say Disney Plus is digging around their bins of random things from 10 to 20 years ago to bring back for nostalgia, and they find Lab Rats and/or Mighty Med. What would you guys want to see? Would you want Elite Force to get acknowledged, or no? Would you want them to continue coexisting, or keep going as separate shows? I've read some of the responses, not all of them, because they were a lot more than I was expecting, and I've come up with the perfect continuation of both series, which are going to remain separate, because that's what almost everyone overwhelmingly said, because no one cares about this cliffhanger. Let's start with Mighty Med, which should come back for another episodic run. Maybe a limited series of 10 episodes or something. The first, 2 or 3 episodes will pick up with Mr. Terror's takeover. Alright, we begin with a flashback to the hospital getting destroyed, where all of the characters are digitally de-aged. So already this has a bigger budget than Better Call Saul, but they gotta commit, okay? So it's this time, it's Mr. Terror, Oliver's mom, who's behind blowing up the hospital, because, she's evil. She has all the villains in the world now worshiping her, and all the villains come back and they blow up the hospital. When the hospital was destroyed, the real human hospital was destroyed as well. Luckily there were no casualties. And when people investigated, that's when they realized Mighty Med existed. So now the whole world knows that superheroes and supervillains are real. It's public knowledge. Then we cut to the present day. Everyone's just scattered and in hiding, and villains have taken over the whole world. It's like a dystopian wasteland, but it's still Mighty Med. You cannot have it actually be bleak and depressing. It has to be a comedy at the end of the day, so all of their situations are somewhat comical. Kaz has been hiding in the domain for, maybe 10 years. That's been his base of operations. And then somehow, one day, he winds up reuniting with Oliver and Skylar, who have managed to find the Arcturian. Oliver has been taking actual steps to, defeat Mr. Terror, because he has this big guilt complex, because it's his mom. So him and Skylar stayed together, and they got the Arcturian. They come back to Kaz, and Kaz has not been doing anything. He's just been chilling. And now they're like, all right, let's get help. We need to find people, because if we can get all of our allies back together, then we can suck Mr. Terror's powers back into here. So they're like, all right, we gotta find Horace. Where could he be? And then they just think there's only one place he could be. Cut to the Golden Gate Bridge. Horace is just like a hobo troll living under the bridge. He loves bridges. They come back and they're like, come on, we can defeat Mr. Terror. And Horace is like, no, I can't resurrect anyone anymore. It's too much. I can't do it. But then they finally convince him to make this big speech. And then he comes along. Then one by one, they come across all of the other cast members. Alan is like a crypto bro now. He puts on this facade of being super successful online, but in reality, he lives in a dumpster, and he constantly has to jump out of it as the garbage truck takes it away. Also, because Devin Leos got into a little bit of trouble when he tried to kill a man in the 7-Eleven parking lot a few years back, I think to avoid controversy, we're gonna recast him as Chris Pratt. So Chris Pratt is now Alan. They get Gus. Gus in Mighty Med always had a ton of just random different jobs that he was hopping between at any given moment. So now in the present, Gus, in his 20s, he was a little short on cash, so he picked up a side hustle as the Prime Minister of Argentina. And so he is coming to visit the US, and that's when they get him. Jordan is the leader of the human resistance, and that's when you can bring in some of the other human characters like Stephanie And I think that's pretty much it in terms of relevant human characters. So then they invade Mr. Terror's palace, which is like over the White House, and they go and they try to defeat her, but they just can't. They can't, like, I don't know, they're too depressed, or they can't work together or whatever. So then in the next part, they're like, wait a minute, the only being powerful enough to defeat Mr. Terror is Catastrophe, the combined form of Wallace and Clyde. And Wallace and Clyde, they go and find them. They've been trying to turn all of the villains nice and good, but unfortunately they just aren't able to do it. There's too many of them. And they say, we can't combine into Catastrophe without the dyad of Nebulon, which was destroyed in the furnace beneath Mighty Med. So they realize they need to go and get that and salvage it and maybe use the Arcturian's power to restore it or something, I don't know. So they go to the wreckage, the ruins of Mighty Met. So they manage to do that. They manage to restore it. And Wallace and Clyde are going to combine. But then they realize, I don't know, they're old. They're not as powerful as they used to be. And then they give the dyad to Oliver and Kaz. And they'd maybe been fighting in the previous episode, and that's why they weren't able to put aside their differences and defeat Mr. Terror. But now they finally do, and they get the dyad of Nebulon, and they combine, they fuse into one being. Maybe Skylar fuses with them. Maybe it's a three-way fusion, and Skylar only has her powers when she's combined with Oliver and Kaz. And then they have a big final showdown with Mr. Terror, because it's more emotionally significant if Oliver's there instead of Wallace and Clyde fighting her as Catastrophe. Then this big, awesome showdown, and then they defeat Mr. Terror. And then after that, Mighty Med sort of settles into a regular episodic run again. They rebuild the hospital, and there's a ton of different superhero ideas you could do. Based on all the new superhero movies and shows that have come out, there's a ton of stuff to riff off of. So then you just go into a normal run of episodes again, and then the final episode is probably restoring Skylar's powers for real. Her and Oliver end up together, do something that actually wraps up all of the character and story threads that were weaved throughout Mighty Med. I don't think this show needs that many more episodes, but it'd be nice to just wrap things up and get a conclusion. Now, for Lab Rats. I think Lab Rats should have a movie. So it's not a sitcom anymore, there's no laugh track all the time. This is years later, all the Lab Rats, they're kind of outdated bionically, and so they're just retired, but they're all doing really well. I don't want any of them to be like losers now. I don't want them to be treated as jokes. They're all doing really well, and they're having a good time. The exciting incident is that some bionic people attack the island, and then they sink it, all right? They just blow up the whole island, drop it into the sea, that only the characters that we like and care about are able to escape, like Donald, Douglas, Bob, Spin, whatever. So they get out, and they're like, man, who blew up the island? We gotta figure it out. And Davenport's like, we gotta get the team back together. So he goes and he tracks everyone down. All of them have their wacky, modern-day hairstyles. Make them look as crazy as possible. All right, Chase is a professor at Bionic University, the first ever one. He's teaching. Leo is a world-famous podcaster. He's extremely popular, well-liked, awesome, good for him. Bree, she wanted to study abroad in one episode in season 3, so maybe she's doing that. She's finally achieving her dreams and studying abroad, living her best life in a steady relationship with someone who's actually nice. And Adam, who had a ton of excellent ideas when talking to the president in a season 4 episode, is now actually the president of the United States. He climbed up through the political ladder, and now the whole country of America is doing better than it's ever been before. Adam saved the planet, he stopped the climate crisis, humanity's on track for greatness, and it's all thanks to Adam. So Chase is probably jealous of that, because Chase is a jealous little boy. So Davenport, he gets them, he brings them all back together one more time, then they all go on an adventure to figure out who's responsible for what. Principal Perry's back, Tasha's back, Eddie's back. They go and they're like, man, who is this? So that the only other bionic evil person that they know of is Sebastian, that Robbie Rotten looking motherfucker from the beginning of season 4 and late season 3. So they go to visit him in prison. He's like a Hannibal Lecter type figure. And he's like, IDK, man, I don't know. I didn't do anything. This wasn't me. Then they get to go on this big investigation. So the thing about Lab Rats is that there wasn't really any major villains left over. It's like, I don't want to bring Marcus or Crane back because they already died multiple times each. I don't want to introduce some other random character too, because that's something that annoys me when there's like comeback movies and they spend like half their runtime with this new character. I'm like, who are you? Get out of here. So they track it all down, and they realize that the villains, the masterminds behind this whole thing, were Trent the Bully and Caitlin, who have infused themselves with bionics, and now they're bad or whatever. And then there are some fight scenes, and that's all. So that's the movie. That's Lab Rats, the movie, starring the Lab Rats. Okay, so those are my ideas. Thank you to all my Patreon supporters. These guys are so cool. You would probably be twice as cool as you currently are if you became one of them, is all I'm saying. Chris, Brian, Jim, Andy, if Disney Plus reaches out to you for a reboot and you need ideas, look in this comment section of this community post on YouTube, because you will find more ideas than you could possibly brainstorm in a year. And some of them are even good. This is the video. The video's over. In my head, I guess I was overhyping how difficult this would be, which is why I put it off for so long, but there was a day and a half of work left on the video, so if I had just put a day and a half of focus into this, it would have been done 3 months ago. Oh well, you live and you learn.